Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The public responds to the recent blunder by Miriam Emanuel in the House of Assembly.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joachim. Topping news tonight, Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson was re-elected to the top post last night in a landslide victory over her former vice president. After sealing the deal on her fifth election win, Wilson said the work for this new term starts now.
It really feels good.
Beaming BUT President Belinda Wilson says Thursday's election victory felt particularly good. She defeated her opponent, Joan Knowles Turnquest, who served as her vice president, by over 900 votes in New Providence alone, in what could be her biggest election win since first claiming the top post back in 2008.
The largest I ever won with was like about 1,240, but I believe this is maybe well into the 1,300 or 1,400.
When we spoke with Wilson, results were still coming in from the Family Islands. For years, Wilson has gone to war for teachers in the public school system, many times butting heads with successive education ministers. Now that she's been re-elected, Wilson said she's taken on a bigger task.
As we stand in front of this old building, Walker's Hall, one of our main goals this term is going to be to build a multi-purpose building on this premises, and we have already had all of the approvals done with the drawings. We've acquired the property behind the building, so we're just looking now for the finance.
As another school year comes to an end, paving the way for the government's multi-million-dollar school repairs program, we asked Wilson what tops her list.
For our members directly, we're at the negotiating table now. So we were at the table as recently as Wednesday. We're back to the table next week, Wednesday. So we're looking at a 20% salary increase over a 3-year period. We're looking at some improved benefits such as hardship allowances and mileage, but also intertwined in that we're looking at improvements in the curriculum and health and safety issues, because, you know, we've been battling with a lot of mold and environments that are not conducive for learning. So the plate is full, but I believe we're up to the task.
Michael MP Miriam Emanuel sparked a social media firestorm following her contribution to the budget debate in the House of Assembly Thursday. Emanuel repeatedly stumbled over a large number, raising questions about whether she had adequately prepared for her debate contribution. However, the health minister insisted she has become the victim of bullying. Jillian Gray reports.
It took this one line to ignite a social media firestorm.
669 loans worth $700 millions were awarded. 7 million plus millions were awarded in Grand Bahama.
While detailing the total of loans awarded in Grand Bahama by the Education Loan Authority, Michael MP Miriam Emanuel, who chairs the authority, stumbled repeatedly while trying to say $7.41 million. It's a blunder social media would not let go unnoticed. In the hours after Emanuel's budget debate contribution, social media was flooded with memes poking fun at her slip-up. One Facebook user commented, "The system has produced multiple Miriam Emanuels, and she has repeatedly demonstrated that she is unfit to be in the Parliament of the Bahamas." Another user insisted the electoral process does not require debates or speeches or a showcase of capabilities, which they equated as a fault in the system. This voter said Emanuel's blunder was an embarrassment to the country.
It just goes to show that people should be well read. You should read every document before you go to public with it, at least 2 to 3 times, or have somebody there to correct your mistakes as you go forward. Things like that shouldn't happen, not in the House of Assembly. I mean, it's an embarrassment to the nation. A lot of people are going to think about party, but it's really the nation that's on display in the House of Assembly.
Amid mounting criticism, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands came to Emmanuel's defense on Facebook, insisting his fellow MP suffered from stage fright, adding that what she is suffering from now is nothing short of crass, mean-spirited, unacceptable bullying. Talk show host Fane Thompson also chimed in, posting, "It is offensive to demean her parliamentary contribution. We ought not ascribe to her our expectations of a Harvard graduate. Bahamians hail from multiple backgrounds." That post got a Facebook like from Education Minister Jeff Lloyd, who said it is insulting to equate or define Mrs. Emmanuel's impeccable record as a caring, devoted, responsible MP to these unfortunate spoken missteps. Now, while the residents that we spoke with agreed that the blunder could have been avoided, many of them said the criticism that she's receiving on social media is bullying.
I think it's bullying. I mean, everybody is strong behind the internet. A lot of people won't come out and face the cameras and say what they have to say to somebody's face, right? That's why a lot of our kids are in trouble today.
It was cruel. It wasn't nice. I mean, people are liable to make mistakes. And I think what social media does is take the negative more and run with it instead of the positive.
It's not the first time Emmanuel has been the center of controversy. Last year, she came under fire after she suggested there may be some circumstances when it is acceptable for a man to beat his wife. Amid strong backlash, Emmanuel apologized and insisted her comments were taken out of context.
And the social media is not your friend.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Free National Movement Member of Parliament Reese Chipman delivering a scathing assessment of the minister-led government during his contribution to the budget debate last evening. Jasmine Brown reports.
Chipman, who was contributing to the debate on the 2019-2020 budget in the House of Assembly on Thursday evening, claimed that politicians are giving Bahamians the scraps while they profit.
We have politics that believe they don't need to listen to you. We have politics that know the law, the land, and the value. So as they give over the hill a piece of bone, they run away with the chicken, the whole meat.
Oh my Lord.
As they sell us service lots, watch who's running away with the acres of land. As they give us seed money, watch who's running away with the fruit basket.
However, the F&M MP did not stop there.
As we tout Bahamian ownership, calling it shares, I'm saying that a lot.
Yes.
Simply Bahamas. Follow who is getting what and vote accordingly. That's political maturity. We must think deeper, Bahamians. Too much is at stake.
Chipman, however, painted a picture of a dissatisfied electorate and called on the government to stop running the country as if it were a company.
It is a sad state of affairs.
He said, simply put, Bahamians are frustrated.
When your child is gunned down and are lost in a plane incident and there's no recourse or even no response, that is frustration. When the government owes you money and it's been a while and turnaround continues, you get frustrated.
Chipman also suggested that he expected more support from his party during his contribution yesterday, considering Prime Minister Minnis and Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar sat next to Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson during his budget debate contribution last week.
I was thinking today, Mr. Speaker, as I took my seat, that to my right would be Kalani and to my left to my right would be Freetown, and to my left would be Kalani, to show their support for me. However, that didn't happen, so I will move forward.
His observation prompted this quick action by F&M MP for Mount Moriah Marvin Dames and Pinewood MP Ruben Ramming.
Look at this, lad. Look at this. That's what I'm talking about. To my right is Pinewood, and to my left is Mount Moriah.
In addition to lashing the government, Chipman did admit there are some positive points in the budget. However, he admonished the government to sink more money into education and invest more in the people of the Bahamas. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Former Transport and Aviation Minister Gladys Hunter Martin is firing back at Minister of Tourism and Aviation Dionisio de Aguilar following his claim that the last Christie administration entered into a bad deal with Western Air days before the 2017 general election.
The member was anxious to speak to the Western Air Terminal and did so in a way which suggested some untoward actions or considerations. Yeah. He was misleading, deliberately misrepresenting the facts. I warn the member, and let me just say this, I can be diplomatic here, that offenses against the Customs Management Act are now, based on this new legislation, National Crime Intelligence Agency deemed security threats. Let me just throw it out. It's in that area.
In his budget contribution last week, Diagler claimed that the Christie administration ordered the airport authority to enter into an egregious deal with Western Air to lease space in its San Andres terminal at an annual rate of $60 per square foot, which he says is higher than other government lease agreements. He also said the deal was motivated by special interests. Hannah Martin denied that the deal was politically motivated and noted that one of the airline's co-owners was an F&M candidate in the 2012 election.
The truth is, though, that the trailers which housed, and the trailers that house airport personnel, customs, immigration, airport security, etc., in North Andros, deteriorated to such an extent that it became a health emergency, and varying government agencies had to quit literally immediately. The owner of Western Air Terminal facility immediately agreed. We thank him. Yes. Immediately agreed for the personnel to immediately relocate without talking about $1, so as to minimize exposure to serious health risks to Bahamian professionals, whilst not disrupting airport operations in the interest of the Andros economy.
Earlier this week, Western Air Vice President of Operations and General Counsel Shirexia Roll told Diagler not to use Western Air as a scapegoat or distraction. She insisted the negotiated lease was $5 per square foot per month and pointed out that the first payment was actually made under the Miz administration. Hannah Martin called Diagler's comments misleading.
It was intended to be a temporary or short-term solution, and a comparison of the lease rate for the terminal in San Andres to rent paid on buildings in New Providence, which is what the minister did, is misleading. Okay. The Western Air rate, which was approved by the cabinet, not by me, and vetted by the Attorney General's office, included all utilities, inclusive of electricity and janitorial services. But in addition, this arrangement was first conceived as an offset for taxes owed by the shareholders of Western Air.
In other news, 177 Haitian nationals were arrested about 30 miles south of Anagua Wednesday night. Authorities said shortly after 6:30 p.m., a motorized wooden vessel smuggling undocumented migrants was destroyed after the execution of a joint operation between Operation Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, a United States Coast Guard cutter, a Coast Guard aircraft, and 2 Defense Force patrol craft. Information on the illegal vessel was issued by the Coast Guard. Authorities said the vessel was monitored and later intercepted. The vessel was destroyed after inspection due to its unsanitary and unseaworthy status. All migrants will be repatriated to Haiti by the Coast Guard cutter. The co-chair of the Bahamas Marijuana Commission is speaking out on the Rastafarian community's threat to sue the government if it does not approve its members' rights to use marijuana as a religious sacrament. Bishop Simeon Hall warns a lawsuit could blow the work of the Marijuana Commission up in smoke. Georgia Bain reports.
Co-chair Bishop Simeon Hall is cautioning the Rastafarian community to wait to pursue any legal action in light of a recent revelation that the community's attorney, Wayne Monroe QC, has sent a letter to the Attorney General and the Minister of Health with their intent to sue if their right to use marijuana for religious reasons is not met. The government has been given 10 business days to respond or legal action will commence. Hall said while he understands their point of view, the group should pump the brakes.
First of all, I respect their position as a, in quote, unquote, religious group. My unsolicited advice would be to them to wait until the commission is completed in its task to survey the views of the Bahamian people. That's basically what we're mandated to do.
According to Hall, a ruling in the favor of the Rastafarian Church could have a negative effect on the work being done by the Marijuana Commission.
Well, it opens the door for the rest of the persons. See, even if you use it for ceremonial purposes, how far do you go? And then if you use it for medicinal purposes, how far do you go? Sooner or later, we have to countenance recreational. And that's what we have 6 subcommittees, and part of it is the ceremonial, the medicinal and the recreational. We're studying all of those aspects of this phenomenon. And I would advise them to wait until the commission is finished.
The use of marijuana for religious reasons has been compared to the Eucharist in the Anglican and Catholic churches. When asked if he thinks that that's a fair comparison, Hall said yes.
I think it is. I think it is. Mind you, we have made alcohol the sacred cow of this community. Alcohol is more pervasive than any other drug, any other thing. Alcohol does more damage to the Bahamian family than cigarette or marijuana. Alcohol, and we bless it. You know, so it's just a matter of what the society accepts and what it rejects.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks, Giorgio. Still to come, 46 Rev staffers successfully complete supervisor training. And St. Anne's School's principal retires after a decades-long career in education. Stay tuned.